Result, we are good to go.
Okay. All right, we are all set to begin with our today's webinar. A very good afternoon to everyone. Every individual possesses a unique set of abilities, often described as magical, due to their seemingly extraordinary nature. Decoding this magic is about understanding, developing, and leveraging your innate talent and skills to their fullest potential. We welcome you all to our participants to this exciting series where HRAI, along with Marching Sheep, brings before you the 2024 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic Decoding the Magic in Your Abilities. Marching Sheep is an HR advisory firm founded in 2013 with an objective for enhancing profitability and productivity through customized and aligned people management processes, structures, leadership, and diversity interventions. It works with clients across industries on gender, generational, sexual orientation, and disability diversity. It has been adjudged among the top 5 global brands and leader 2021 by DG Live, among top 25 HR firms in India by Business Connect, and top 10 in Delhi NCR by Silicon India. To know more about HRA and Marching Sheep, I would request all our participants to visit the link posted in the chat window. I request all the participants to kindly follow the webinar guidelines mentioned in the chat window. It's my privilege to introduce our masterclass speaker for today's session, Miss Alina Alam, founder and CEO of Mitti Cafe. Alina Alam started Mitti Cafe at the age of 23 with the dream of showing the world the magic of abilities. Mitti Cafe's work towards economic independence and dignity for persons with disabilities. The organization's outreach initiative helps create awareness among inclusion and disability rights. Alina is a four-time TEDx speaker and has been featured in the Forbes list of 30 under 30 Asia. She is a Commonwealth Youth Awardee and has received Niti Aayog Women Transforming India Award, Helen Keller Award, and United Nations Intercultural Innovation Award. Also, she has received Times of India She Unlimited Award, Rotary Exemplar Award, and Tycon Young Female Entrepreneur of the Year Award, amongst the others. To learn more about Alina, you can follow her on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Now, without wasting much time, I will hand over the platform to Alina to take this discussion forward. Over to you.
Faisal, it is such a pleasure to be here and speaking to such amazing participants who, by the end of the few minutes that we spent together, I'm confident would not just be able to decode the magic in their own abilities, but in turn also realize their potential to really bring about a dent in the world, to change the world for what it should be. Um, Swarnabha, I'll just share the screen. And while Swarnabha is sharing the screen, the next few minutes, maybe half an hour that we talk, it is mostly going to be about y'all, and because you all will be able to find yourself in my journey and everything that I have learned in my entrepreneurship journey when I started it from zero startup capital, multiple dejections, not knowing what capex and opex is, let alone possessing any of your expertise of working with people and managing people. So and to where we are today, there have been several lessons, there have been several things I wish I knew when I started, and I'd be as candid to reveal our successes as well as our failures for y'all to benefit from. And post that, I hope y'all have as many questions so that I'll be able to answer it. Please ask any question. You can ask personal questions, you can ask anything to do with my entrepreneurship journey, and I'll try to be as honest as possible. So let me take you all back a couple of years, okay? I was this 22, 23-year old in college. And chalo, let me take you all back even a couple of more years, because a lot of y'all might have children, nephews, nieces, while in school. So I was this child in school who was labeled as difficult, who was labeled as this naughty child, who, in my parents teacher meeting, my mother was told that we have no idea what Alina is going to do in the future. Never great grades, huh? Like always just managed to pass in school. But yes, infamous and naughty and difficult, was what I had always heard that I am. Fast forward, I'm 22 and I'm in college waiting for placements, final semester. But God had other plans, and I meet this chap. Through a documentary that I watched. Any idea who this guy is? Y'all can write on the chat box if that's. Can Faisal, can they write on the chat box? Like, that's possible, right?
Yes, yes, they can.
Who,
They can
acha,
write.
so who do you think is the so this guy has changed my life. I found him through a documentary in my final semester when I was waiting for placements to happen. And he ensured that I don't go for college placements. Any idea who he is? I mean, his hair, his the way he looks, the sculpture. Um, Chalo, one hint, he's from Rome. Any idea?
Poonam has written Socrates.
Socrates.
Yeah.
Socrates.
Even Vandana
Good
has.
guess. Very good guess. Anyone else? Chalo, one more guess. Do you have a guess, Hazel?
Even I feel Socrates.
So, no, very close. So his name is Nero. Nero was an emperor in the ancient Roman Empire, mighty rich. You see, he would win one war after the other and the other, and one day he wins the biggest battle of his life. And when you win, what do? You party. So he decided to throw a party, and he invited the who's who of Tinseltown. He invited kings and queens, princes and princesses from 7 kingdoms. And as evening befell, Nero said, "Boss, we need some lights to make the party happening and rocking." So he decided to burn waste to generate light. He decided to burn the prisoners of war and the poor people who were captured, who he considered not more than waste. As I said, I was 22 then. Sitting in that classroom, what I realized was that the problem is not Nero. You could equate Nero with atrocities, injustice, discrimination, all the not so nice things that exist in this world, some that we're also seeing today. That will always exist. But you know what the problem was? The problem was not Nero. The problem was Nero's guests, as to how thousands of them could sing, dance, drink when fellow human beings burned and died. And a bigger realization for me was when I realized that I was one of Nero's guests. Probably y'all might feel the same about yourselves. Um, because if you feel something about anything and if you're not willing to take action, then you've taken a side. And unfortunately, that side is that of the oppressor. I decided I cannot sit for college placements and instead started volunteering with organizations that work in the disability inclusion space, which is when I realized that the problem is not that there are 70 million people with disabilities across the world, across India, and over a billion people with disabilities across the world. The problem is a larger statistics, which is the disability in our perceptions that stops us from seeing the magic in their abilities. Like I was brought up by my own grandmother who had a disability. Next slide, Swarnabha. Who had a disability, but all that I could see in her while growing up was abilities. Today, I'm a mother to a 1 year old baby. Generally, when we conceive, what do we say? That we want a healthy baby. What does a healthy baby mean? A baby without a disability? But as I said, the problem is not the statistics that there are people with disabilities. There are a billion people with disabilities. 1 out of 6 people have a disability in the world. That is not the problem. The problem is the larger statistics, which is the disability in the perceptions of the community that I wanted to change. I needed a common model, a common denominator that could connect people to people. And what better than food to do so? So, food is a medium to connect a mother to a child, a friend to a friend over lunch breaks, and the community to our team members with disabilities through the medium of food or cafes, being able to achieve two simple objectives. One is money should enter the accounts of all of these amazing team members that you see here. And second, more important than that, being able to create awareness about inclusion with every meal or beverage that we serve. Next. So this picture that you see here, as I mentioned, I started Mitti with zero startup capital, so no paisa, multiple rejections. I did not know what capex and opex is. And as an entrepreneur, what I believe in and what I have continued to believe in, these are lessons that I learned at the beginning of my journey, and I absolutely embrace it today, even today. That is that if scarcity is the best asset that an entrepreneur can have. You know why? Because scarcity leads to creativity, leads to desperation, leads to shamelessness, a leech like attitude. All of these things that you were told that are not nice, being desperate, being leech like, being absolutely shameless about your ask, are all assets that an entrepreneur gets when there is scarcity, when the entrepreneur has nothing and nothing to lose, only to gain. So when I didn't have money, what did I do? I went from shop to shop, house to house, asking people to join the movement of inclusion. So right from the spoon, second hand oven, second hand fridge, tissue papers, this flask that you see in front of you, were all donated by people I didn't know, by the community. The local vegetable vendors came to know that we are starting Mitti Cafe. They got vegetable baskets that turned into our lampshades. We had the local printer designing vacancy pamphlets for me free of cost. We had the student community. So our first cafe was in a dilapidated tin shed full of generations of rats, which the student community helped me clean. So I promised them free samosas and chai. And there, I mean, tada, like, we could get the cafe cleaned. And that is how I started my first cafe. This girl that you see here, I remember the first day she came in for the interview, she came in crawling because at that point of time, her family could not afford a wheelchair. Today, the same girl sitting on her wheelchair, next, sitting on her wheelchair, she manages 10 other people with disabilities. She's the manager for our first cafe. Next slide, and her name is Kirti. As I talk to you, we have hundreds of Kirtis across the multiple Mitti cafes that we have next, who have together served over 11 million meals and beverages, thereby enabling us to create awareness about inclusion with every meal or beverage that we serve. And like, I cannot be there at each of the cafes, so it is our team members with disabilities who are our change makers in the forefront, creating awareness with every meal or beverage. And it is measurable for us with the number of bills that we generate. And by the way, that is Sadik. You can find him at our cafe at Wells Fargo if any of y'all happen to go there. Next. We've been able to also experientially train 5,000 people with disabilities. Also, if you can see on the right, this boy Chandrakant, he came in as a trainee and today he is a trainer. And when we talk about training, and all of y'all are from most of y'all are from the HR background, generally, when we get people with disabilities, most of them come from really low income backgrounds. Most of them have never gone to school. So they don't know how to read or write. A lot of times, a minimum requirement to get in people on board, to hire people, to let them sit for interviews is at least a class 10. Many of our candidates here, including Chandrakant, has never gone to school. But we feel that skills can be picked up irrespective of your educational qualifications. For example, if you dry waste and wet waste, the difference you can learn through a game. You can learn through practice. You can learn through seeing. Or if you touch money, you don't touch food. You learn through practice. So skills can be picked up. You don't need theory for it. And we've been able to skill and place over 5,000 people with disabilities so far. And many of our trainees become trainers, like in the case of Chandrakant. Next. We all know this gentleman in the middle, familiar face, has been in the news of late also. And all of many of us adore him. But the hero of the picture here is this little boy here. His name is Bhairappa. He's got dwarfism, motor disability, mild intellectual disability. And the reason I call him the hero of the picture is that he is representative of the hundreds and millions of stories of people with disabilities that are often untold, go unnoticed. So when Bhairappa, his name is Bhairappa, when he came in, he was rejected at 80 plus jobs, which is post that we got lucky. If you see this picture, when he came in, he did not know the concept of wearing slippers or even brushing his teeth. Today, the same boy. Next, if you go to the Bangalore International Airport, and if you find him, and if you look at this arrow here and what is written in green, he's our team lead. He's leading our entire team at the Bangalore International Airport. Not just that, when persons with disabilities come in, for the world to see their abilities, for you all to see their abilities, that will happen, we know. But that will happen in a later stage. For us, it is a challenge to show them the mirror to their abilities after years, their own abilities, after years of rejection, being told they're not good enough. Bhairappa was told that he will never find a job. It was in his village, he was made to believe that his mother passed away because of him, because he's a curse. No children in his village ever played with him. And this is what he remarks to me, Mandy, that I never had friends. Today, um, he has overcome all of that. He's got friends in Mitti Cafe. This chap has become the team lead, earning with dignity. He was also told something even more painful. He said that because of your disability, you will never find anybody to love you. So, देखो पैसा है या नहीं, you have money or not, is fine. But love that everybody needs, irrespective of age, gender, um, economic condition, social condition. He was told that nobody will love you because of your disability. But don't be too sad. Then this happened. Next slide. So he met Rupa at our cafe at Wipro. So recently, when I met up with Mr. Azim Premji, I was mentioning to him that at that point of time, Harippa was working in Mitti Cafe Infosys and Rupa was in Mitti Cafe Wipro. So this was a Wipro Infosys love story. And he was also very happy. And next slide, and then they got married. We have many love stories at Mitti. Uska previous slide. So we have many love stories at Mitti. Over 27 and counting who've met in Mitti, fallen in love, and gotten married. So love has no boundaries, disability being minuscule. And by the way, now they have a 3-floored house in their village, and the entire village, along with their children, come to see it. So now he's become the hero of his village. And Rupa, his heroine. Next. So you see, COVID happened, and this is very important. And all our cafes shut down. So we were at 13 cafes then. Now we are at 46. But then we were at 13 when COVID happened. All cafes shut. Zero revenue. Didn't know how to pay our team members. I mean, so many of them were people with disabilities, with families, with medical conditions. So when we were looking at survival, one of our team members, Hemant, he's got autism and cerebral palsy and intellectual disability. So generally for people with intellectual disabilities, what do we say? Pagal hai, aimless hai, don't know what they're doing, don't know what they are saying. These stereotypes we have, na? But our experience has been totally different. So now Hemant comes to us, this boy with autism, and he says that log bhukhe hai, there are people who are hungry, and we know how to cook. And imagine his vision. We only talk about impacted numbers like 100 meals, 1,000 meals, crore meals. This boy had a numberless vision. He said, अगर हम खाना बनाएंगे कोई भूखा नहीं रहेगा, and then nobody will stay hungry. While we started with a few hundred meals, it gives me immense pride to say that our team members with disabilities have served over 11 million meals to the economically vulnerable next. And not just that, we continue to do this even today. It's a flagship initiative that we have, Karuna Meals, and just changes the paradigm, right? That persons with disabilities, given the right kind of support, can not just support themselves, but support those in need. And with the Karuna Meals initiative, we've been able to establish just that. And we go into their communities with so much of taboo, where they are serving meals, and it just changes the perception, right? Next slide. We also have, during COVID, when all our cafes shut down, and this is important, right? Because in your journey, you'll see everything is going up, 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 and suddenly there'll be a steep downward, which is always possible in life, personal, professional, but always know. And as my mother says, that you know that she's very much into faith, and that's what she says, that after every hardship comes ease, so always hold on. So while all our cafes shut down, we started Karuna meals. Then we started cafes. While our corporate cafes shut down, we started cafes within hospitals, airports, etc., etc. And then we started gifting as a vertical. So these beautiful gifts, and you all could also avail it, in your office, are made by people with disabilities. Next slide. Every one of these people that you see here in front of you, Lakshmi on the left, the one who's holding onto the two flowers, single mother of two children, only earning member of a family. She can't hear or speak. She is our assistant manager, and she makes these beautiful gifts. Of course, you know Rupa. On top, the boy who's holding onto the kettle, Kotappa, he was left at our training center by his family last 3 years back, and he was so sad we were not able to track his family. We realized that he's got the art, the knack for art, and he designs these beautiful kettles that he designs as part of Mitti Good Gifts for us. Of course, you can see Sandesh holding onto the beautiful coasters that he and Advait have made, and so on. So Mitti Good Gifts is an initiative for us where every gift is a way to gift back livelihood. Most of our clients here are again B2B. Next. Then, as I said, that while our corporate cafes shut down, because the 13 that we were only within corporates, we thought very scalable, captive audience. And then, of course, COVID had plans and all our cafes shut down. Then we said that no problem, we have to pivot. So, what I've realized in my journey is that it is 99 people generally glorify, what do I say? They glorify the idea that, you have to have a very so solution. The solution has to be very good. I would say it very differently, that it is 1% the idea, and it is 99% implementation for success. And this is the holy grail that has always worked out for us, along with, of course, desperation and the mixture, which is which is a great asset to have. And even if you want to sell potatoes, if it can be the simplest idea, or pani puri, it doesn't have to be outright innovative for it to be successful, but it has to be 99% implementation. So while our cafes within corporates shut down, we started cafes in hospitals. Through the hospital, we came to know, the you can see the MD of Bangalore International Airport reaching, he reached out to us, and the rest is history. We started two cafes at the Bangalore International Airport. Next, we got noticed by the Mumbai International Airport, and that's how we started. Next slide. That's how we started a cafe inside the Mumbai International Airport. Now, this the slide that you see here. So Mumbai. When we started the cafe at Mile Mumbai Airport, they created a 20 feet stage for us. There were 6 performances by Mumbai International Airport employees to welcome our team. This was the last, performance that our team had for. Can you all is Anyway, I think Swarnabha has left the meeting, but I'll continue. So, we started our cafe at the Mumbai International Airport, and post that, we got the opportunity to start our cafe inside the Supreme Court of India, which was inaugurated by the Chief Justice of our country on his birthday. And, as God would have it, the President of India came to know about this venture, and just a month back, we inaugurated our cafe inside the Rashtrapati Bhavan, thereby changing the paradigm that if you start very small, there's nothing that can stop you from dreaming big. And incidentally, the President of India inaugurated Mitti Cafe again on her birthday, and sending a message to the entire country about the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion. As I talk to you, we have 46 Mitti cafes today, over 11 million meals served, 5,000 people with disabilities we've been able to engage, train, and place. And along with this, it is important for me to say that while uh, you may you may think that when we talk about poverty, hunger, homelessness, we're talking about millions of people suffering from that. And then we often wonder that, what difference does it make if, we I mean, even if we do our little bit. And, my response to that is this one story that has been life changing for me. And which is, so there was a high tide and there were millions of starfishes on the seashore. And so there was this young girl picking up one starfish, throwing it into the water, the other starfish throwing it into the water. And then one, wise man comes and asks her, young girl, what are you doing? So she continues what she's doing. This time he asks her more assertively, young girl, what are you doing? What difference does it make that you're picking up one starfish, throwing it into the water, the other starfish throwing it into the water? And what she did has changed my perception about change. So she picks up this one starfish, she throws it into the water, and she tells the wise man that it made a difference to that one. So for me, my first starfish was Kirti, and every day it is the pursuit to reach out to the billionth starfish across the world for whom economic independence and dignity is not yet a reality. And we often glorify this word social work, right? And say, "Arey, acha kaam, we will, we'll do, good work, we'll do dan work, we will do charity." It may make you feel very good, but what is very important to realize is that let's replace the word social work with social duty, and you will see the world differently. Because of the kind, I mean, imagine there are millions of young girl children who will never go to school because of their gender. There are millions of babies that we don't know about because it's not reported, who would never see daylight because of their gender. We have millions of people who are homeless, kicked out of their homes by their families because they don't want to take care of them anymore. There are millions out there who are hungry, and would probably die for the food that we often throw. There are millions out there who are suffering in silence when there is so much of violence against them, whether they are survivals of domestic violence or sexual abuse. There are so many children out there who we don't know about, who are suffering day in and day out, and their plight is not reaching us. And here we are at a point of privilege, going through these years of privilege. Today we are, able to interact with each other through this amazing system. We have shade above our head, whereas there are so many people who are homeless. So it is like a debt that we have now to the society, udhar, probably something that we'll not be able to repay our entire life, but at least try to repay whatever bit of it, and call it your social duty, instead of social work, to pay off that social debt. And as one of my favorite poets says, मेरे सीने में नहीं तो तेरे सीने में सही हो कहीं भी आग लेकिन आग जलनी चाहिए. And I'll translate it. We'll all die someday, guys. But irrespective of whether we live or die, I think that ignition na, has to continue in someone's heart. Do that one bit for that one Kirti, inspire for this one starfish, inspire just that one more person to follow suit and to do their bit, and the world will change for what it should be. And I promise you today that the power to do that and the magic to do that lies in each one of you, because compassion and courage are two weapons that can eradicate any problem that our world faces today. And you all have that in plenty. You all need nothing else. So go out there, believe in your ability to change this one starfish's life, because the magic is in you. uh, with this, I would love to open it up to questions. And also, Faisal, did they miss out seeing some pictures in the middle when Sparnabha's screen was not working, or was it just me not
Yeah,
able to?
the time when you were speaking about the judge and the Supreme
Acha,
Court, right?
acha,
That
theek hai.
time.
So Sparnabha, why don't you just give them a glimpse of
Yes, I will.
the
I will.
Supreme Court cafe, and because the Rashtrapati Bhavan one you've just opened, you all must see. And just 2 days back, we started inside IIM Bangalore as well. So if you all happen to visit IIM Bangalore, please do come in and let them know that you've been invited by me, and we'll be more than happy to host you. So this is again our cafe at India Coffee House. So must visit if you are in Bangalore. So all the three people that you see here, they are trained baristas. So they know how to operate this cool coffee machine. So if you want to know how to operate this coffee machine, you all must visit ICH and they will train you. Next. Then, as I mentioned, so yeah, we also had the German Federal Chancellor Olaf Scholz visiting our cafe. So for those of you all, because even when some, so this is a very funny incident that happened. So we got a call saying that Olaf Scholz would be coming in. He's the German Fed, so he's the Chancellor of Germany. So we thought that maybe he's somebody from the consulate, because we always so we always know things. We know names like the president, the prime minister, ministers. So who would know what federal chancellor is? And I think this was like last year when I was, I think, in my 9th month of pregnancy, and we were like, "ठीक है, it's amazing that the consulate folks would be coming in." And the next day we see that the roads are blocked. The India Coffee House where we have our cafe, that is shut down for this one person. And we thought that what is this that's happening. And then we realized that he is the federal chancellor, who is equivalent to the prime minister of India, like in Germany. And of course, I mean, he came in and he was really happy, and the rest is history. Next slide. Then oh, this is our beautiful food truck. So we have this parked at Mercedes and we take it out. So this is like a mobile mitti cafe where we can create awareness throughout, not just in one location but 7 different locations, 7 days. Next. This is the historic moment when we started our cafe at the Supreme Court of India. Next slide. We had the chief justice coming in to inaugurate it for us. And recently we were invited to the chief justice's house, like our entire team in Delhi. And along with his wife Kalpana ma'am, she also inaugurated one of our cafes for us. Again, very very humble people. So I think one thing that we realized in our journey, and something that a lot of people feel very apprehensive about, that, oh, I mean, reaching out to people at such high levels, is it, can we even do that? But what we've seen through our experiences, the higher you are, the more humble you are. I think that's also one reason why they've reached there. And that's what we've seen in the chief justice and his wife. They're the most amazing people. Next slide. And of course, we had the president of India inaugurating Mitti Cafe on her birthday. Next. And yes, we had the defense minister of India inaugurating another Mitti Cafe. I know this was not on his birthday, but this was the Lucknow International Airport. Rajnath Singh doing it for us. Next. This is this. Can you all guess where is this? You all can write on the chat. This is the Rashtrapati Bhavan. So this was a VIP toilet that we converted into a cafe, and only the Rashtrapati Bhavan could have made us do this. But but yeah, I mean, and I think another lesson, and for those of you all who are a lot apprehensive to work with the government, see, things that you feel are impossible, it's just in your head. Everything is possible. Who would imagine, a cafe that started from a dilapidated tin shed full of generations of rat would be inaugurated someday by the president of the country, the chief justice of the country. Who would know that we would be present in every airport, across, the country, and growing. So it is only, oftentimes, it is only you have to fight with yourself, and you're thinking that it is not possible. Everything is possible if you have faith in place, if it is 99% implementation, 1% idea, if you have desperation, if you are leech like, if you are irritating enough to not leave your goal and not leave people. Like, we were rejected at every incubation center across the country, but after rejection we would still get benefits out of them, because we had that stickiness, because we would just not let go, because they could see that we were so desperate to really bring about a change. And yeah, the rest is history. Also, I think in your journey it is important to have a rhino skin, gende ka chamda, because life is tough. But if your outer covering is tough, inside you can be like, you know ekdam as soft as possible. But have that, be as thick skinned, And of course, and have faith, and always believe that um, have this is a quote that is very, it's my favorite, and I'll end with it, that have courage and be kind, for where there is kindness there is goodness, and where there is goodness there is inevitable irrevocable magic, and the magic is in each one of y'all. So over to you guys, ask questions, I'll be very happy to answer.
Thank you, Alina, for running through your inspiring journey. Uh, Before we take our participants' questions, we will be initiating the poll. Request all participants to kindly share your feedback. While doing so, request all the participants to kindly post their questions in the chat window. Thank you once again to all our participants for joining today's session. We have received many inquiries about the participation e-certificate offered by Acharya and Marching Sheep. To claim your e-certificate, please email your details, name and session attended to the email address provided in the chat window. Be sure to do this by the end of the day today. We will email the e-certificate to you based on the details received. So, Alina, we have received some questions from the registrations. I'll just like to call it up. The first one is, how can individuals with disability effectively identify and leverage their unique abilities in a society that often focuses on limitations rather than strengths?
And whose question is this?
Actually, this has come from the registration, so it's
Okay,
anonymous.
got it, got it. Yeah. So, no, thank you for asking the question. See, for us, I think, as I mentioned, that 100% of the time when candidates with disabilities come in, they themselves don't know about their abilities after years of rejection, as rightly mentioned, after years of being told they're not good enough, etc., etc. So, but it is also up to them to change that perception, really about themselves. And we've seen that happening in plenty at Mitti Cafe. All that, see, Mitti Cafe is not like a magical organization where suddenly they come in and they get abilities to do great things. No, I mean, all of that existed, and we're just probably a organization that just showed them the mirror that this is possible for you. Many of them, for example, Sabiha, she's got multiple sclerosis, a very severe disability, no control over her hands or her legs. Again, a single mother. Her husband left her, and she's been a survivor of extreme domestic violence. And good that her husband left her. And she's again now a single mother, multiple sclerosis. So when she came into Mitti, so her hands would shake, her legs would shake. So we tried to put her in the kitchen, it didn't work out. Then we realized that she's got a gift of the gab. That is, we put her in the front counter. So if you come in for a 10 rupees chai, she will talk you out of a 50 rupees combo meal. That is Sabiha's strength. And, all that we did was to give her that platform. And which is why awareness is extremely important in the ecosystem, to really, believe in them, because the magic is already in them. All that you need to do is to show them the mirror. And they, many candidates, I remember Raju. If you go to IIM Bangalore, you'll find Raju there. Raju, he's our expert barista. He's got polio. And when Raju came in, when I used to talk, this was again in the initial, it's been 6 years for him with Mitti. So initial stages, if I would tell him anything, if I would tell him something, if I would scold him, he would cry. If I would be nice to him, he would cry. And I would wonder what is, matlab, is something wrong with me? Um, uh, but today Raju is like all smiles, and he trains others to be, just like him, positive and happy. So change can definitely happen. Consistency is required. You'll definitely, they need support. It's not just one way. They also, once they get the support, you will absolutely see that kind of potential coming out from them. And that's what we've seen time and again at Mitti. And Mitti as a model, we I mean, it's basically a model. How many Mitti cafes can be open? 100 Mitti cafes, 1,000 people employed, 10,000 trained. You're talking about 7 crore people only in India. So our objective is not to, I mean, our objective to, start Mitti Cafe is not just to, start Mitti Cafes and continue to grow Mitti Cafe. We want to grow our impact in terms of the awareness that we create, so that so many people, more people can join the movement of inclusion, create opportunities for so many people with disabilities. And that's how the world will change for the vision that we have.
True, very true. Thank you, Alina. We have received one question from the chat window from Manpreet Kaur. She's saying, "Hi, Alina, how you started training these DNI individuals?"
So, actually, to be very honest, initially when I started Mitti Cafe, so it was like a one woman army. Like I was I was everything. Like I was doing the BD, resource mobilization, mopping the floor, washing the dishes, training. So I in the process, I got trained. So it is, when we talk about our team members, it's been two ways, where I have also learned and unlearned so many things. And in the process, they have also, today we have an experiential training program, as I mentioned, where 90% of the training component is training while doing. So we have live cafes where our team members get trained. Post that, they are placed with other organizations or at a Mitti cafe. So we also do placements for other placements at other organizations. And we have various so whether it's hospitality training, which comprises customer service, a component of F&B, barista training, inventory management, and so on. And we have specialized training as well, depending on, if for example, if somebody wants to really become a trained barista, then that person is then taken, after the generic training that we have, they take into a specialized training bit. But what we've noticed is that, for example, if a person has got hearing and speech impairment, so that disability cannot determine what could they work in. Like for example, somebody with hearing and speech impairment, or somebody with visual impairment, or somebody with Down syndrome can be good with someone can be good at the kitchen, someone can be good with just baking, somebody could be good with just housekeeping, somebody can be good with numbers. So, and the same person, and different people who can be good at different things can have the same disability. So hearing and speech impaired person can be good with numbers, and someone else with hearing and speech can be good with the in the kitchen or at customer service. So every individual is unique, and all of us have our own disabilities. Like, I don't think any of us are perfect. The only thing is, and this is a very logical explanation to things. Like for example, if we want to travel from one city to the other, we will not. I mean, we will have difficulties walking and traveling from Mumbai to Delhi. So what is the way that we use? We take trains or we take a flight. So we have devised our own ways, right, to remove the disabilities that we have. The only
I believe Alina must have got dropped off. We'll just wait for a few minutes till she's joining back. Sorry for the inconvenience. Swarnabha, if you can.
Yes, yes. I was just trying to get in touch with her.
Yeah.
Faisal, I think there's a connectivity issue from our end. She's just trying to
Okay.
join.
No issue, no issue. We'll wait. We'll wait for. So request all the participants to please be patient. Our speaker will be online in just a minute or two. Sham, if you can just give Elena the rights. She's saying her camera and mic is showing disabled. Sham?
Yeah, given.
Okay.
So sorry for that.
No problem.
Yeah, so I was just saying that like that, if we can remove our disabilities by certain things that we have. For example, if it's a flight that we require, or if we are like even today when I look at an Excel sheet, I feel that they are like ants scrolling, but there is somebody I have got in place who's good with numbers. So I think the same thing that if we do that for people with disabilities, the kind of abilities and their contribution that they can get to the world would just be of benefit to us.
Thank you, Elena. Hope Manpreet has got the answer to her question. She has she's written one more question, that is, how do these individuals approach you for a job?
So various ways. So it can be so we generally get referrals from our existing candidates. We get it through our website. So yes, through our website. We also tie up with partner organizations, since our training is experiential in nature. So we're a part of the DNA Disability NGOs Alliance. So a lot of our recruitment happens through that. We also rehabilitate a lot of people with disabilities from the road who are either begging or are homeless, because we provide them with accommodation, logistics, wheelchairs for those who cannot afford, and medical treatment. If somebody has a psychiatric disability, we have a tie up with NIMHANS. So along with them, we try to help them get rehabilitated and start their experience to work and earn with dignity through MITI.
Thank you, Elena, for answering all our questions so beautifully and brilliantly. Thank you for delivering such a thought provoking and inspiring session on unlocking the magic in our abilities. Your insights have truly illuminated the path to self discovery and personal growth, encouraging us to embrace our unique qualities and strive for continuous improvement. Your passion and wisdom have left a lasting impression, motivating us to harness our innate talent and make a positive impact on the world. We appreciate your dedication to this vital aspect of sustainability and for inspiring us to consider the broader impacts of our efforts in building more inclusive world. I'm sure our participants have had a lot to learn and take away from this session. I sincerely thank Marching Sheep for their association and support extended. This session would not have been possible without Marching Sheep, where we are privileged to be working with them on this series. Thank you once again for this beautiful session. We would love to host you again very soon. Thank you, Alina. Also, would like to thank all our participants for joining us today. Do join us for our next session with Connecting the Dots on the topic Innovation and Sustainability Leadership on 1st of August 2024. That's it from our today's webinar. Hope to see you soon. Stay safe.